Prime Minister Anthony Albanese may not have expected a wholly positive reception at the Bush Summit in Ballarat, Country Victoria, today, but it's unlikely he expected having his motorcade chased by tractors. Likewise, Victorian Premier Jacinta Allan may not have expected to find herself blocked from leaving the summit venue by both tractors and Country Fire Authority, CFA, fire trucks. Footage posted by the Herald Sun newspaper shows the Prime Minister's white motorcade being followed closely by fast-moving tractors. SBS News has contacted the Prime Minister and Premier's office for comment, but has not yet received a reply. Both Labour leaders will be aware of the opposition to renewable energy infrastructure that's been simmering in rural areas around Ballarat for several years. They would also be aware of the hostility directed towards Victoria's emergency services levy, which some in regional communities believe unfairly burdens over the cost of funding services such as the CFA. Protests against these issues have seen large convoys of fire engines and tractors take to the streets of Melbourne and smaller cities of Victoria in recent years. In the fertile potato-growing areas around Ballarat, the opposition to renewable energy infrastructure is primarily directed against the Western Renewables link, an electricity transmission line that will run from wind farms in Victoria's western Melbourne's outer suburbs. At just 190 kilometres, the high-voltage power line makes up only a fraction of the approximately 10,000 kilometres of new transmission lines that Australia may need to build to decarbonise our electricity grid by 2050. Construction on the project was originally slated to start in mid-2025, but has now been delayed until after the 2026 state election, something the state opposition has said is a deliberate ploy by Labour to hang on to its seats along the project's path. Transmission company AusNet has attributed the delay to changes made to the project's route and design, which involve extensive updates including engineering design, planning, and community consultation, a spokesperson said, as reported by the Weekly Times in April. At the Bush Summit, a member of the public asked Albanese, "Why are regional communities paying the cost for renewable energy? Where is the social license? Where is the regulation to protect our communities, value our farmland, and preserve our environment?" Albanese, who was repeatedly booed by some regional landowners in the summit's audience, said, "Quite clearly, government haven't done well enough in the engagement in community consultation and those processes." Albanese said he'd had conversations with locals about their experience of just getting hit with information from an energy company without any notice, which he described as completely unacceptable. Allan also said that engagement with landowners over such projects had not been acceptable. Whether it's the support that landowners receive in hosting transmission lines on their property, whether it's the compensation arrangements that are being made available, we can work through these issues together, the Herald Sun reported the Premier as saying. The Victorian government has committed to pay landowners $8,000 a year for every kilometre of transmission infrastructure for 25 years.